morning. You are watching ABC News and this is ABC Headlines. I am Jennifer Samoa. Coming up in the headlines, 39 people who were part of the weekend street protest and were arrested by the police for unlawful acts have been remanded into custody by the Accra Circuit Court. Still to come, President Akufo-Addo is set to deliver his final address to the United Nations General Assembly at 2 p.m. today. We have these and many more coming up. Do stay tuned. This is ABC Headlines. Now the news in detail. The arrest of Priscilla Toboli, a diabetic, asthmatic and glaucoma patient during the final day of the anti-Galamsey protest has raised serious concerns after her family reported she had been denied access to medical care and communication while in police custody. Priscilla was arrested while live streaming the protest on TikTok at the 37 Military Hospital intersection on Sunday. Her family, upon learning of her arrest, began searching for her across multiple police stations in Accra. Eventually, they located her at the Kaneshie police station that evening, but were denied any form of access or communication with her. According to Priscilla's brother, who has been at the forefront of the family's efforts to contact her, officers at Kaneshie cited strict instructions from the Greater Accra Regional Command prohibited any visitation or legal counsel for detainees associated with the protest.
We scouted through the various police stations and then at around 9 p.m. we found her at Kaneshie. I requested from the counter NCO to speak to my sister. What she could do best was to refer me to their station officer. And then the station officer said they were working under specific instructions from the regional command that those who were arrested in relation to the protest shouldn't be allowed any form of access by anybody, not a family member, not even a lawyer. The caller told me that my sister is not fine and so we should come and see her. I walked back to the gate. The officer in charge said no. My sister has complicated health issues. She's diabetic, she's asthmatic, and then she has glaucoma. We are not able to tell whether she's in a stable condition or not. Asthma can be triggered at any time. BP can be triggered at any time and place her in danger. We do not understand why someone who ordinarily was just filming the protest or streaming the proceedings of the protest live on his social media handle should be arrested and then detained for 3 good days. We scouted through the various police stations and then at around 9 p.m.
In a related development, the family of some of the arrested protesters, who is 4 months pregnant, and her husband were in court yesterday to follow up, but were denied access to share their ordeal.
My name is Evangelist Winnie. I'm from Easterport. I was just reported. It was just reported to me that my brothers have been arrested. So I followed up today. No, they were arrested on Sunday when they were from 37 coming and they saw the people protesting. So they went there to snap a picture. And they took the lady who is my brother's wife. She's also pregnant. She's 4 months pregnant. They took her. They took my brother who is also under operation, taking medicine. They took that one too. And they took my other brother. So my junior brothers too are inside with one wife.
You said they were driving a car?
Yes, they were driving a car, Toyota Corolla.
Do you know the whereabouts of the car?
No, we don't know the whereabouts of the car too.
So are you confident that they are here at this court? Have you seen them?
Oh yes, when I came here I saw them and they have handcuffed them.
You've handcuffed them?
And they took them inside. They wouldn't even allow you to talk to them. My name is Evangelist Winnie. I'm from Easterport. I was just reported. It was just reported.
Still on the Democracy Hub demonstration, 39 people who were part of the weekend street protest and were arrested by the police for unlawful acts have been remanded into custody by the Accra Circuit Court. They were part of the 3-day street protest organized by the pressure group Democracy Hub. The protest, which voiced concerns over illegal small-scale mining, that is Galamsey, and economic mismanagement. 10 protesters were the first to be remanded after appearing in court, charged with conspiracy to commit a crime, specifically unlawful assembly. All 10 pleaded not guilty and were remanded into police custody, with their case adjourned to October 8, 2024. A second group of 9 protesters, also charged with conspiracy to commit a crime, unlawful assembly, causing unlawful damage, and offensive conduct, pleaded not guilty. They were also remanded and will reappear in court on October 8. A third batch of 11 protesters were remanded into prison custody, with their case similarly adjourned to October 8. Lawyers for Oliver Baka-Vomawo, in a statement, are praying that the Ghana Police Service allow Oliver Baka-Vomawo to seek medical care as he fell ill earlier yesterday evening. On September 23, 2024, Oliver turned himself in around 2:46 p.m. after police issued a manhunt for him. Still on some Galamsey issues, the paramount chief of Twifo Atimokwa in the central region, his linguist and 2 others have been dragged before the Kumasi High Court for allegedly engaging in illegal mining activities on a licensed mining concession. Officials of Kadesh Mining Enterprise in a writ allege that over 85% of their 14.73-acre concession at Twifo Atimokwa has been destroyed by illegal mining. Mining Enterprise was granted a 5-year small-scale mining license on June 11, 2024, after initially applying for a mining lease in 2023. However, before the company could begin its commercial operations, the concession was reportedly occupied by the Omanhene of Twifo Atimokwa, Osiadeyo Kwesi Kenin IV, along with Ochiameyaw Asamoah, Ernest Aholo, and their foreign collaborators, led by a Chinese national, Wu Mingjing. Court documents indicate that the paramount chief admitted electronically to the illegal mining activities, which have caused significant financial losses to Kadesh Mining. Still on Galamsey fight, hundreds of volunteers from Arocha, Ghana, a conservation organization, have taken to the streets to press the government to take action against illegal mining, also known as Galamsey. The protesters, who held placards with messages demanding the government to act, scattered across the capital city, urging the to take decisive steps to protect the country's water reserves. After the protest, the deputy director of Arocha, Ghana, Daro Bosu, indicated that this is one of a series of activities putting pressure on the government holders to act to save the country's waterways and forests. Bosu expressed that despite the devastation caused by Galamsey, indifferent to the issue.
We contend that the said LI 2462 is inconsistent with the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703, and the Forest Act 1927, Cap 157, which expressly prohibits the granting of mineral rights and forest reserves. Additionally, the LI is a bad law. We are also asking the High Court to grant an interlocutory injunction to halt the issuance of any further permits or licenses under the disputed LI 2462 regulations allowing mining activities in forest reserves. We contend that the said LI 2462 is inconsistent with the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703, and the Forest Act 1927, Cap 157, which expressly prohibits the granting of mineral rights in forest reserves. Additionally, the LI is a bad law. We are also asking the High Court to grant an interlocutory injunction to halt the issuance of any further permits or licenses under the disputed LI 2462 regulations allowing mining activities in forest reserves. We contend that the said LI 2462 is inconsistent with the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703.
Well, let's take you back to the Democracy Hub demonstration where 39 people were part of the weekend street protest and were arrested by the police for unlawful acts and have been remanded. The lawyers for Oliver Baka-Vomawo stated that they are praying that the Ghana police will allow Oliver Baka to seek medical care as he fell ill earlier yesterday evening. We have joined us via Zoom to have a conversation on the arrest and detention surrounding the demonstration. It's one of the lawyers for the protesters, lawyer Noah Adamte. Good morning and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, yesterday you were in court. We understand some protesters have been remanded. How many will appear today?
So we knew there were about 46 protesters arrested. So yesterday about 39 of them were presented to the court. So there are about 7 persons that we are looking forward to seeing in court today.
Okay, but currently is everyone in a good state?
No, so for that, we cannot speak to that. When I saw the protesters in court yesterday, none of them was in a good state, unfortunately. I'm sure you've seen videos of the arrest, and there are people, there is a woman who is pregnant, there is a lady who has a tetanus infection who was not part of the protesters. She just happened to be in the area at that time. She was bundled as part of the protesters. There is a lady, she was part of the protest, but she's a diabetic patient, and she's also asthmatic. All attempts to get her drugs to her has proven futile over the days. And some of them have been beaten. You could see wounds, fresh wounds on their bodies. One young guy with his hand fractured, basically because of the force that was used to pin him down during the arrest. And for that guy, he lives at 37. So he was there. It was a public event. He was there to watch. And then he was arrested as part of the people. So none of the people I saw yesterday was in any good condition. There is a gentleman who is a German citizen who was around. He has a gunshot wound that he was nursing. He happened to be there when the protest was ongoing. All attempts by him to the police and to the state to allow him to seek medical treatment has proven futile. So unfortunately, none of the protesters seem to be in good condition.
But the families of the diabetic protesters and pregnant woman, they are pleading for exemptions. How are you handling their case?
Yeah, so we regrouped yesterday, and we have decided to write a petition to the Attorney General. For the woman, we want to also rope in the Minister of Gender and Social Protection, and then also the Women's Caucus in Parliament, that they should intervene. Aside the fact that the pregnant woman was not part of it, there is a video pointing to that. She was seen with her phone taking pictures of the protest, and she was arrested. So we want the Women Caucus in Parliament, the Ministry of Gender, all of these people to come in and do something about her situation. Because according to the laws of Ghana, a person should not be given a custodial sentence after the end of a case if the person is pregnant. Truthfully, the case hasn't ended yet. However, we cannot subject such a person, a pregnant woman, to the conditions of being in prison. It is being in custodial, being in custody at this point. at Nsawam when she's pregnant. So we are hoping that these officers will come to our aid and lend some support to get these women who are seriously ill and one other who is pregnant out of prison.
Before I let you go, what is the state of Oliver Barker-Vormawor?
Yeah, so Oliver is not feeling very well. From yesterday, we received news that he was vomiting throughout the latter parts of the day. So arrangements were made by Oliver's lawyer to get a medical professional to visit the police station where he was being kept. And they were able to make that arrangement. When they got there, they were not allowed. The medical professional was not allowed to see Oliver. So the lawyer for Oliver issued a communique pleading with the police to allow Oliver receive some medical treatment. You see, the thing is that even if you're not going to allow his personal medical officer to see him, the states must make the effort to bring him to any of the state's hospitals to be attended to. So as at around 11 p.m. getting to 12 a.m. yesterday, he had not been attended to. This morning, I've not been able to follow up to see what has happened. But that is the plea out there to the state to allow Oliver to receive medical attention.
Okay, we pray that all the protesters will be in good health and also Oliver will be able to get the needed medical attention. Thank you so much for joining us. The lawyer for Democracy Hub, he was giving us updates on the arrest of protesters at the 37 military hospital intercession. Some of them have been remanded, some of them are not in good health, and currently the convener, which is Oliver Barker, is asking to get immediate medical attention. We'll give you more updates on this as we go on with our other bulletin. But away from that, let's do some education. As the Technical University Senior Administrators Association of Ghana is threatening a nationwide strike by the end of September 2024 if their demands are not met. In a statement dated September 8, 2024, TUSAG expressed frustration over the government's failure to honor their collective bargaining agreement despite numerous promises. TUSAG cited the government's refusal to implement revised allowances for senior members of public universities directed by the Ministry of Finance in May 2024 as a clear violation of their rights. Also, an addendum to their collective bargaining agreement was signed in July 2024, but the government has yet to implement these changes. The association further alleged discrimination in the payment of common allowances due to unions of the same class of workers at public universities. TUSAG demands payment of agreed upon rates for vehicle maintenance, off-campus, fuel, utility, and sanitation or security allowances. TUSAG has resolved to declare a nationwide strike action if these payments are not reflected in the validation of September 2024 salaries. President Akufo-Addo has called for significant reforms within the United Nations Security Council, emphasizing the need for a more equitable global governance structure. He made this appeal on Tuesday night at the UN Summit on the Future of the World. In its current form, the Security Council does not reflect the realities of today's world. It remains an outdated post-Second World War relic, with Africa, a continent of 1.4 billion people, grossly underrepresented. We cannot speak of multilateralism when the structures of global governance are rooted in an unjust and unequal order. Mr. President, the time for half measures is over. Bold reforms are needed to ensure that every nation, large or small, rich or poor, has an equal voice at the table. President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo is expected to deliver his final address to the United Nations General Assembly in New York on Wednesday, September 25. The president is expected to touch on climate change and other recent global developments. Away from that, the government of Ghana has reiterated its commitment to fulfilling its obligations under the settlement agreement with Trafigura, with the aim of resolving the matter swiftly. This reassurance follows the circulation of a letter on social media suggesting a delay by the government in executing the agreement. On September 24, Trafigura's Ghana Power Generation Company petitioned Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam seeking payment of outstanding arrears owed by the government. In response, the Ministry of Finance clarified that the letter reflects ongoing discussions to settle the claims, assuring that necessary arrangements have been made to honor the outstanding payments following several rounds of negotiations with Trafigura. Well, that's all for ABC Headlines this morning. I am Jennifer Samoa. Up next is ABC in the Morning. Stay tuned.
morning. You're welcome to ABC in the morning. Today is the 25th of September 2024. We are grateful that you're joining us on ABC in the morning. I am Abna Mante. Coming up, we'll be bringing you Front Story. We'll be bringing you trends and sports, business fix, politics today, and happier. But before we get into what we'll be bringing you today, let's take what Kofi Annan said. Kofi Annan, the 7th Secretary General of the United Nations, said that this world is not ours to keep. We hold it in trust for future generations. This world is not ours to keep. We hold it in trust for future generations. This is some food for thought for you, knowing that the world is not yours, but you're holding it in trust for those who would come after you. What would you believe in for them to come and live in? If we think with posterity in mind, we will live a life and leave this world to the generations that will come after us, so that when they come, they would be very grateful to this generation and say that thank you for leaving the world a better place, for leaving the world a place that we too can inhabit. So how are you tilling the land? How are you treating the land on which you're living on? How are you treating the water bodies? How are you treating all of the natural resources God has graciously blessed us with? The world is not ours to keep. We are holding it in trust for future generations. Let this be your guiding principle as you walk through the day and through the week. Thank you for joining us on ABC in the morning. Up next is Front Story. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching ABC in the morning. We're bringing you Front Story. You would recall that over the last couple of months, the issue about galamsey in Ghana has taken a turn for worse. Looking at our water bodies and how we are fast depleting the natural resources in the land, and also in doing that we are wasting the water bodies that we have. Right now you cannot drink from some of the rivers in the country because of how turbid they have become and how muddy they have become. Away from turbidity and how muddy it is, the leaching of harmful elements into our water bodies and into our lands are becoming an issue for us as Ghanaians. And to fight the menace of galamsey, organized labor led by the Trade Union Congress and other civil society organizations such as the Media Coalition Against Galamsey, Aricha Ghana, on 11th of September issued a stern warning to governments. They threatened a nationwide strike, and which was to take place by the end of September if any decision is not taken to address the escalating menace of galamsey. They were saying that if by 30th September any decisive decision had not been taken by government, they were going to demonstrate against government. The group issued a statement and demanded the immediate declaration of a state of emergency in all areas affected by illegal mining. Not only them, other groups also issued a statement asking for a state of emergency. The group also called for a halt to all mining activities in the forest reserves. And you know that mining around forest reserves is found in the LI 2462, which many groups have said that it is a bad law and should be repealed. The group also said that there should be an establishment of special courts to fast-track prosecution of people or persons in the Galamsey operations, and also a deployment of military to remove and destroy all mining equipment in affected areas. Beyond that, the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, on 13th September set up and had an ad hoc committee, a 5-member committee, to look into the issue of Galamsey by meeting stakeholders and finding the way forward. The ad hoc committee started its work, has met various stakeholders, and we are expecting a report at the end of this 5-member ministerial committee meetings. This is going to evaluate government's ongoing efforts to combat illegal mining. However, Arocha Ghana says that they are suing government. Why are they suing government? They are suing government over the LI 2462. We will be speaking to them to get their demands. On 17th September, the group went into a meeting with government's 5-member committee. The committee, if you didn't know, is headed by Kandapa, who is the Minister for National Security. But Arocha Ghana, after the meeting with government, has said that they still maintain their stance on their demands, and that on 30th September they will be protesting and they will strike. Yesterday was World Rivers Day, looking at the rivers in the world. But Ghana's rivers are nothing to write home about. Our rivers that were once clear and people and persons could drink from, families could fetch water from the rivers and drink without fear. If you look on the screen, this is how our water bodies have been left in a very deplorable state because of Galamsey. Let's look at Galamsey. Let's look at what the labor unions have said, and we will be back. Stay with us. Let's take some graphics and look at what the labor unions are asking from government on this issue of Galamsey. You and I will agree that Galamsey is very stressful to us. In the next few years, what does it bode for us as people if our water bodies are all destroyed? Nothing from the water bodies, they are not sustainable anymore because of Galamsey. But initially, you saw on our screens the 5-member ad hoc committee the government set to fight Galamsey, led by Albert Kandapa, the Minister for National Security. As part of the committee, we have the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abu Jinapor, which is very necessary that he is on this committee. The Minister for Defense, Dominic Nitiwu, the Minister for Employment, Labour Relations and Pensions, Ignatius Bafo, and the Minister of Information, Fatimatu Abubakar. Cabinet ministers making up this ad hoc committee to look at the issue of Galamsey. And all of them being on this committee is very necessary because every part of this Galamsey finds expression in the work they do as ministers, and they have been in meetings with some of the stakeholders in this issue. This is a breakdown on the clarion call against Galamsey. In the early phase of the campaign against Galamsey, over 10 associations and groups joined calls to combat illegal mining as they threatened to stage a nationwide protest at the end of September. They include, but are not limited to, these organizations that came together: Organized Labor, UTAG, Ghana Medical Association, Ghana Catholics Bishops Conference, the Christian Council of Ghana, the Ghana Journalists Association, Media Coalition Against Galamsey, Arocha Ghana, Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Executive Women's Network, Mobile Money Operators Association of Ghana, Ghana Association of Small-Scale Miners, Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association, Private Newspapers and Online Publishers Association of Ghana. These are some of the groups and associations that have come together to make a call to combat illegal mining. Very prominent amongst the calls that they have been making is that there should be declared a state of emergency in Ghana, and also small-scale mining should be banned for the time being. These are their demands to governments. Declare a state of emergency over all water bodies. Council all mining leases that cross water bodies, and repeal the LI 2462, and finally enforce laws and regulations governing mining activities. The small-scale miners have said that if small-scale mining is shut down or is banned, it will be affecting them who are not doing anything, who are not going against any laws, because small-scale mining is lawful. Small-scale miners have said that the issue about banning small-scale mining does not sit well with them because what they are doing is lawful. Let's also look at another breakdown, because Arocha Ghana and 6 other CSO, civil society organizations, have sued government over Galamsey. This is a coalition of 6 environmental and civic organizations in Ghana, and they have filed a legal suit at the Accra High Court seeking to stop mining operations in areas they say are forest reserves. Among these 6 are Arocha Ghana, Nature and Development Foundation, Civic Response, Eco-Conscious Citizens, CASA Initiative Ghana, Trapenbos Ghana, and Media Coalition Against Galamsey. So Arocha Ghana and their friends have sued government about mining in forest reserves. These are their demands before the court. They are demanding a halt of the issuance of further permits or licenses under the LI 2462 regulations allowing mining activities in forest reserves. They are also demanding that any persons or entities holding such license be restrained from carrying out mining activities in forest reserves. And they are demanding that they prevent the exercise of any presidential powers to approve mining in globally significant biodiversity areas pending the court's determination of the case. So these are some of the 3 things Arocha Ghana and the other CSOs are seeking their demands before court over Galamsey. These are some of the things they are seeking because they believe, they are environmentalists, amongst other things, believe that mining is affecting Ghana and is affecting us in a very terrible way. Mining is affecting us in a most terrible way, and before we know it, we'll be plunged into a far worse situation than we already are in. You look at our water bodies, and it seems there is no hope because the water is so turbid, so muddy, and beyond the turbidity and the muddiness of the water, the kind of chemicals, elements leaching into the land and getting into the water bodies, it's disheartening. These are things that have long-term effects on us as people, as persons, and it's quite disturbing. On our screens you see some galamseyers digging and fetching mud so that they can sift through for the gold, the mineral resources they are looking for. I mean, you know that even mining is not a sustainable form of doing anything, because how does the land even recover beyond this? You look on the screens and you're asking yourself, how long is it going to take for the land to recover from this level, this deep level of degradation that illegal miners are plunging us into? It is a disturbing and worrying situation, and we need to take care of this before it gets out of hand. This one is really not ours to keep. We hold it in trust for the future generations. If we keep going on this tangent, what will the future generations come to meet? If we don't get to a point where we say it is enough, this is enough, we are not going to condone this again, we are not going to harbor this again, we are not going to stomach this again, we are going to plunge the nation into a far worse situation than we are already seeing. The future generation will have nothing to look to, and they will look back and say that the generation before them failed them. It's this heartening seeing this kind and this level of degradation going on in our countries. Water bodies, destroying water bodies, destroying the lands, because of how lucrative this is. There have been so many videos online seeing young men and women who are involved in Galamsey saying that there's no way they are going to stop because the money this is bringing them is more than they would ever make if they were not doing Galamsey. Does something have to give before we say that enough is enough? Indeed, we are at a point where we need to say enough is enough, because this menace is getting worse by the day. It's getting worse by the day. Our water bodies, our lands are suffering because we want to mine resources. We are not doing it in a sustainable way. The land is for us to use, but not to destroy. And we need to take a look at it. We really need to take a look at this and then call a halt to the issue once and for all. We need to look at this issue of Galamsey, this issue of illegal mining. If it seems that people who are into illegal mining are untouchable, that is quite unfortunate, because nobody should be untouchable in the country and under the constitution. Nobody is above the greater good of the country. Nobody should be allowed to make their money at the expense of the people. We are harming ourselves, and if we do not take a critical look at this and put a stop to it once and for all, we will one day look back and put our hands, would fold our hands onto the top of our heads and cry about the degradation we have done. Now, cocoa farmers are selling their lands to Galamseyers because they feel that in selling their lands, they will make more money. So they are selling their lands. So the one thing that was giving us money as a country, that was boosting our reserves, we are gradually and fast losing it, because farmers are saying that I'm really not making any money from my cocoa farm, so I might as well give it to a Galamseyer. And for those involved in Galamsey, when does enough become enough? In your quest to make money, in your quest to get all of these minerals so that you can sell, when does enough become enough? I think we need to all get a certain conscience so that we can stop at a certain point. Look at the water bodies. Very disturbing. Very disturbing. The cyanide, the mercury leaching into the land, find its way into the crops. The same water that has been desecrated will be used to water the crops. Because where will the farmer get water again if not from the same rivers? So you don't sit in the comfort of your homes or wherever you are and think that it is far away from you. No, it's not. It is not far away from you at all. It is not far away from you at all. It is something that is very, very close to all of us, regardless of the part of the country that you live in. Regardless of the little corner you are in, Galamsey is a matter and an issue that matters to all of us. So we need a collective effort to get Galamsey to stop so that illegal mining can end. The adverse effects of what is happening is beyond any of us, and if it doesn't stop, we will not be able to contain it. We are hurting the land, we are hurting ourselves as a people. The food you are eating, do you know the water that was used to irrigate the crops? Do you know how much of these harmful chemicals have leached into the land? It affects all of us. All of us. So many times we've heard stories of people falling into galamsey pits. Some persons who were not even involved in galamsey have fallen into pits and died. There was a news item some time ago of a woman who fell into a latrine, not knowing galamseyers had been just chipping away the ground from under the latrine, and one day she went and then she died. It goes beyond all of us and it affects every single one of us. So it's about time we took a stance on this and demanded that galamsey stopped. It is very necessary that we do not see these on our screens again. We should get to a point where we don't even have to think about galamsey. It shouldn't be a burden on our minds and something that keeps us awake. We should get to a point where the president should not have to set up a committee that has to look at galamsey, look at mining and see how the reach can be mitigated. We shouldn't even get to a point of that. Galamsey is hurting us. Traveling across the country, you see water bodies and you're asking yourself if it is a water body or is stagnant water just sitting there. And many communities fall on the rivers that pass through the communities to sustain themselves. But let's pay attention to the water bodies. Let's pay attention to our land. Let's pay attention to ourselves. Let's think about the future generation. Let's think about the babies with deformities that keep getting born. Let's think about this and let's have some compassion on ourselves. Let's have compassion on the land. When you love something, you treat it with care. I don't think we love Ghana. If we did love Ghana, we wouldn't be treating our water bodies the way we are treating them. We wouldn't be treating our lands the way we are treating them. We should love ourselves enough that galamsey will be a thing of the past. Well, Arocha has sued government, like I said earlier, especially on the LI-24, on the LI-2462. Let's listen to Arocha Ghana on why they sued government.
We contend that the said LI-2462 is inconsistent with the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703, and the Forest Act 1927, Cap 157, which expressly prohibits the granting of mineral rights and forest reserves. Additionally, the LI is a bad law. We are also asking the High Court to grant an interlocutory injunction to halt the issuance of any further permits or licenses under the disputed LI-2462 regulations allowing mining activities in forest reserves. We contend that the said LI-2462 is inconsistent with the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703, and the Forest Act 1927, Cap 157, which expressly prohibits the granting of mineral rights and forest reserves. Additionally, the LI is a bad law. We are also asking the High Court to grant an interlocutory
Arusha Ghana has maintained their stance on this issue of Galamsey. They are calling for a ban. They are calling for a repeal of LI 2462. And for them, they have been unwavering in their stance from the very beginning. Daryl Bosu is the Deputy National Director for Arusha Ghana, and he joins us over phone. Good morning, Daryl. Thank you for joining us this morning.
I can't hear whoever is talking, please.
Hello, Daryl.
Hello?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
No, I cannot hear you. The line is so faint.
It's faint. We'll do well and maintain a good sound. Is it better now, sir?
Yes, it's better.
Thank you for joining us this morning. For Arusha Ghana, you have been very unwavering on your stance against Galamsey. This action of suing government, what are you seeking to achieve?
Thank you very much. So I think our recent suit against government is with regards to the LI 2462, which was passed somewhere in November 2022. I think right from the beginning of 2023, when CSOs got to know about it. Now, when I say when CSOs got to know about it, it tells you that that is the law on forest reserve and sustainable management of a forest reserve, but the state failed to consult with CSOs within the sector or even actors or stakeholders within the sector. So from our point, that law was passed very clandestinely with the intention not to get everybody to know what was happening. And when we took a critical analysis of the law, we realized that the law was a bad law. It was not consistent with Ghana's progressive, sustainable forest management policies and legal frameworks that exist. So we sought to already engage government significantly on how the bad law can be repealed, all without success. And that is how come even before the Galamsey, I know the Galamsey issue has been raging for a long time, but this was actually going to take it to a next level where government was not only going to allow Galamsey in off-reserve, but government was going to permit Galamsey in reserved areas. And that for us was quite problematic. So the suit we brought against government, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, EPA, and Minerals Commission, as well as the Attorney General, is to really compel them to scrap this bylaw off our books, because looking at what the law stands to do, we thought we see that it is overreaching and it has no powers to even allow people to mine in forest reserves, because forest reserves are set out to be protected for a purpose of the forest. So, and the law is very clear. You can only mine in an area where it is not already designated for another purpose. Forest reserves are set aside for purposes of managing forests, so it should not be permitted. And that is how can we do government on that.
Well, you said that on 30th September you will be protesting against government. Is that still on course?
Yes, I mean, we are part of the media coalition against Galamsey. We are behind the organized labor demands and supporting them in every way. So yes, we are committed to working with all civil society groups, all professional bodies to push hard and get government to do what is needful and what is right for the people of Ghana.
Daryl, yesterday being the World Rivers Day, you staged a mini protest by standing in certain designated areas to protest against Galamsey. Did it reach the people you were expecting it to reach, and did it garner the kind of attention you were expecting?
Yes, I think the whole idea to keep engaging the public and letting them know what we are confronted with. You know, if you look at the Democracy Hub demonstration and the fallout from it and all that, people's minds were swayed away from all that was happening. So deliberately we came out, and also to commemorate World Rivers Day, we came out to get people to appreciate the relevance of water resources and why we need to care for them. So we were really strategically positioned, and we were able to catch the attention of commuters early in the morning. These are people who are going back to their day jobs in their offices, going to sign documents. Some of them, I'm sure, are going to even sign mining leases and all of that. And we are telling them that, look, whatever you are doing, be very responsible. Think about the future, not just today. And it's not all about the gold. It should also be about the welfare of the people. And I think that we were very successful in getting the message across.
Okay. Daryl, on Friday, on Monday, which is 30th September, where will the protest start? Where will the protest start from?
I need to say that the clear demand from organized labor and other groups is not say that we are going to do a demonstration on the 30th. We said we are giving the government to the end of the month of September for them to act. Then after, all others will follow. So it's not necessarily that we are starting the campaigns or the demonstrations, and I think all of this is still ongoing. There's a lot of discussion between organized labor and other stakeholders and also CSOs and all of that. So the details of all of that will come much later when the month ends.
When the month ends. So we'll be looking forward to speaking with you on that. But are you looking at partnering with any foreign organizations to raise more awareness on this issue? Hello, Daryl.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
Yes. What was the question again? I didn't hear you. Sorry.
Right. The question was, are you looking at partnering with other foreign organizations for more visibility on this campaign?
You know, I would wish, yes. I mean, there's always the need to mobilize resources to do campaigns like this. And I can say that there's already a lot of support from several institutions in the country and who are supporting and really are concerned about the issues. Several organizations, NGOs are working there, getting support from several. So to a certain extent, that is already happening. And so it's not something that we are now going to do. It's happening. And I would also want to see that there is a local interest rather than, because this is our issue. It's not for the international community. And I think that all of us should find a way to get involved. We don't need a lot of things to be in a demonstration or to be on the street or to tell somebody, a policymaker, that look, do the right thing, and to be on social media. This is a Ghanaian issue, and we shouldn't expect somebody coming from outside to solve our problems. So I think that we need to mobilize the resources ourselves locally. And when there's opportunity, there are several grant opportunities out there in the global community we can tap into, and a lot of us are doing that, are tapping into some of these resources to enable us continue to advocate in the interest of the public.
Daryl, I know that the group you're part of has asked or called on the National House of Chiefs to take a stance on this issue of Galamsey. So far, we really haven't heard much from the group as a collective. However, the chairman of the National House of Chiefs, Ojiahowo Yaojebi II, said that he didn't subscribe to the blanket ban on mining. What do you say about that? And are you still expecting something from the National House of Chiefs?
Well, I think we need to put everything in context. Nobody has said that there should be a ban on mining. Nobody has said it. CSOs have not said that. Organized labor has not said that. What we have said, whether it's legal mining or illegal mining, we should not allow it to happen in our forest reserves. We should not allow these forms of mining, legal or illegal, in our rivers. That was what it was. So if you have a mining lease that is allowing you to mine in a river, that mining must be stopped or must be withdrawn. That lease must be withdrawn. That is what we have said. Nobody has said. So for me, what the president of the National House of Chiefs said is out of context, is a way to also misquote us and make us look very unpopular in the eyes of citizens. We have not said that there should be a ban on mining. Nobody has said that. So I think in that regard, we want rather to hear from the National House of Chiefs how they see mining should be done in this country. As far as we are concerned, the government has been saying they are committed to responsible mining, but the evidence out there is clear. There is no responsible mining going on in Ghana now. And that is what we are calling the government out for. And we are saying that what they are doing now is not responsible. The right thing must be done. Nobody has asked for a ban on mining.
Daryl, in your stakeholder engagements with the ad hoc committee set up by the president, what have been some of the outcomes from the engagements?
I don't understand your question, please.
The organized labor has met with the ad hoc committee set up by the president. In all of these conversations, what have been some of the outcomes from the meeting, and what is government's posture?
Well, I can tell you that we from the Media Coalition and other civil society global relations, we refuse to meet with the ad hoc committee. We are done with too much talking and too much evaluation and assessment. Are they telling us that all these years that we have been in office, working every day at the Ministry of Land, they are not assessing whether we are successful or not? Must they take this outcry before they start acting? That is why we need to see the need to meet with them. And as you know, organized labor met with them. The conclusion was the same: meet our demands and then we talk. Basically, that's what.
So, Daryl, is that to say that you were not invited for the stakeholder consultation, or you declined the meeting? Hello, Daryl.
I'm saying that there was an invitation and we declined.
Okay. Thank you, Daryl. We'll be coming to you again for more on this conversation, especially after the 30th of September, if we haven't heard anything from government. Thank you for speaking with us this morning.
Sure, thank you, too.
Daryl Bosu is the Deputy National Director of Arocha Ghana. He's given us what their thoughts are on the Galamsey menace here at the moment. The Galamsey menace that is a burden on the minds of Ghanaians at the moment. And amongst the suits, as part of the suit against government, they are looking at the repeal of the LI 2462 because it is a bad law, as they say. So that's it for front story on ABC in the morning this morning. We've looked at Galamsey, and we are hoping that in subsequent days, in the days to come, we'll hear better news about this menace and how it will be eradicated from our body as Ghanaians. This is ABC in the morning. Stay with us. We'll be back. watching ABC in the morning. I am Abna Mante. You want to interact with us on social media at ABC News GH _. Send us a message, text us, interact with us via our WhatsApp 050-993-0360, 050-993-0360. Send us your birthday wishes, all of the shout outs you have for your friends and family. Send us any information and we'll be glad to read it on ABC in the morning. Let's take a look at some of the stories on the various websites. So this is from the ABC News GH website. This is our website for credible news, for timely news. This is the website you should be visiting. This is the go-to website for you. President Akufo-Addo receives 2024 Atlantic Council Global Citizen Award, and some protesters from the Democracy Hub protests have been remanded. Yesterday on the news, we found out that some have been remanded for as long as 2 weeks. And there have been some uproars on social media, particularly the X platform. And we will look at that too. And CTAC has vowed that they will not resume work until funds hit their account. They say that they will not resume work until funds hit their account. And let's go to ctnewsroom.com. Let's see what is also on CT. One UG lecturer says that we have compromised quality for quantity, and he's talking about free SHS. He believes that instead of quality, we have compromised it on the altar of quantity, and because of that, that is free SHS. And Osei Mensah-Bonsu says that the 2024 election will not affect review of the Constitution. He says that it will not affect the review of the Constitution. Let's see what is also on My Joy Online, and then we will go into trends really soon. So on My Joy Online, they say that export value of cocoa beans have dropped by 26% in the second quarter of 2024. And Professor Otian Bebio says that free SHS has spelled doom for the whole educational system. So for Professor Otian Bebio, he believes that free SHS has not been a step in the right direction, but rather spelled doom for the whole educational system. And lawyers for arrested protesters from the Democracy Hub protests say that nobody is more lawless than the Ghana Police Service. Nobody is more lawless than the Ghana Police Service. A lot of people have had their say about the Democracy Hub protest and how protesters were handled at the protest and even after the protest. Yesterday, when they were arraigned before court, some of them will be spending their period of remand in prison instead of in police custody, because the information is that the police does not have enough room to keep them. It's raised a lot of uproar, so much uproar on social media about this, and most of them have also been remanded for 2 weeks. And people are asking questions. For a protest, do you remand somebody for 2 weeks? Is that the right thing to do? And families and friends have also said that some of their relatives and loved ones have not been accounted for. Their friends went for protest and that was it. They haven't heard from them. They haven't seen them. They have visited various police stations and still no news about their loved ones. And they are not getting any forward information, no information from the police as to where these persons have been sent to. And it has left them in a state of confusion. People are worried. Where are my loved ones? Where's my sister? Where's my brother? Yesterday, from some of the videos that were circulating, persons who said they were bystanders but were also picked up with protesters. It's been a very sad time listening to the stories of some of the protesters, seeing how some of them were treated, and listening to how stressed families and friends are for their families who went out for a protest, a peaceful protest, and have not returned home. Well, let's take a quick break. We'll be back. Sports and trends follows. Stay with us.
Attention business owners, it's time to take your business to the next level with ABC News GH Television's mega promo. From August 1st to October 31st, 2024, we're offering you unbeatable deals to advertise your products and services. Don't miss out on this amazing chance to reach more people and grow your brand. For more details, give us a call on 050-993-0360. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Follow us on social media at ABC News GH_. Attention business owners, it's time to take your business to the next level with ABC News GH Television's mega promo. From August 1st to October 31st, 2024, we're offering you unbeatable deals to advertise your products and services. Don't miss out on this amazing chance to reach more people and grow your brand. For more details, give us a call on 050-993-0360. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Follow us on social media at ABC News GH_. Attention business owners, it's time to take your business to the next level with ABC News GH Television's mega promo. From August 1st to October 31st, 2024, we're offering you unbeatable deals to advertise your products and services. Don't miss out on this amazing chance to reach more people and grow your brand. For more details, give us a call on 050-993-0360.
You're still watching ABC in the morning. Thank you for staying with us. Let's take some more news from the various news portals. Yesterday there was a story on Trafigura that they were going to seize Ghana's property in South Africa. The finance minister says that we are on track to settle Trafigura debt despite circulating misconceptions, and you can see the press release on your screens. Also, in a bid to stop galamsey, a convener says that puts a price on your child's kidney. Very necessary. If you put a price on your kidney, on your child's kidney, we will be very insistent, and the powers that be will also have the political will to stop galamsey. UTAG members of UCC accuses leadership of taking unilateral decisions. They are not happy with their leadership. But let's look at some of the things that are trending in Ghana today, especially on the X platform. Let's take a look at some of the things trending. Top of the trends, at number 1 is Free the Citizens. At number 1 is Free the Citizens. And it is about the protesters who are arraigned before court yesterday and have been remanded for 2 weeks. And Ghanaians are saying that free the protesters, free the citizens. They are citizens of Ghana. They were exercising their right to demonstrate, and that free the citizens. In freeing the citizens, people have said that the Ghana Police Service is dishonest because they are juxtaposing it against what they saw on TV, what they saw on video, and then the various press releases that have followed from the Ghana Police Service through their public relations office. And many Ghanaians, especially on the X platform, are calling the Ghana Police Service a dishonest police service. So Ghanaians are calling for releasing the protesters who have been remanded for 2 weeks. So the hashtag on the X is free the protesters. The background is a red background with a black square in the middle. Ghana is also trending in number 2 on X. Ghana is trending in number 2 on X. And the reason why Ghana is trending is because of what is happening in Ghana. So various people are writing, making their post and all, and then in it we include the word Ghana. You know that on X it trends when one particular word continues to find expression in almost every post that is made. Away from trends, let's take sports. Godwin is on standby to give us sports. Stay with us, we'll be back.
ABC Sports. This is ABC in the morning, and I'm bringing you all the latest you need to know in the world of sports. Let's get straight into it. The Minister of Youth and Sports, Honorable Mustapha Yusuf, has responded to growing public criticisms of his tenure as the worst minister in Ghana's sports history. Mustapha Yusuf rejected the accusation, citing the absence of concrete data to support such claims. Honorable Yusuf has also disclosed a significant investment towards improving the Ghanaman Soccer Center of Excellence at Pram Pram. The minister revealed that over $2.5 million has been allocated to the Ghana Football Association to construct a hotel to accommodate national teams. He assured the parliamentary committee that the ministry is closely monitoring the use of the funds to ensure accountability. The minister made these remarks while briefing the Parliamentary Select Committee for Sports, Culture and Tourism.
Decided to give some portion, and I don't have the figures here, it's something that we can cross-check and get you the figures. Portion of the money to the FA then to be used for the technical center, and that's the Pram Pram. And some portion, you know, like I mentioned, that the government invests in the tournament. When a major tournament like this is going, it's government that puts in the resources and everything. So at that time, government took some portion to the consolidated fund. The same thing once we went to South Africa, 2010. Government had prize money, and everything was taken in 2010 to the consolidated fund. Then in 2014, we went for the World Cup again. Again, the prize money that came, also government took it from the FA. Then also in 2022, when the prize money came, portion of it that we spent, government took it, and which is about 5 point something, government took it to finance our participation in AFCON, and 2.8 has been given to the FA to improve on the standard and the hotels in Pram Pram. As you speak, at the last Congress of the FA, which is just about 2 weeks ago, the FA cut the salt to build a hotel facility for our national teams at Pram Pram. And the ministry is monitoring critically to ensure that the portion that has been given to them is utilized for the purpose of which it was given to them. So to answer your question whether accountability based on our prize money, during my period, this is what I've said. But the historical fact is what I've given you. Then once, what I intend to disagree with you, your statement that I'm the West, as a minister, I'm the West performer in terms of numbers. I don't know which numbers you are talking about. So you should be able to tell me what numbers the data you are using to determine during my time it is the West. I want to know that. But decided to give some portion, and I don't have the figures here. It's something that.
Meanwhile, the sports minister says not all national team coaches need to be paid monthly, as many agree on deals to be paid when they fulfill certain objectives. He says it's unfair for them to turn around and complain when they know what they signed up for.
Or under 23, or the senior national team. There are always terms and reference and terms and conditions. So, and whether it is also male or female, these are all the conditions are captured. So normally the FA will engage and have contracts with all these national team coaches. They have contracts and the terms are spelled out. So if your terms of condition in your contract says that we are going to engage you, but the benefits that you will get is when the senior national team is competing. So because of pace of performance, you should be able to qualify. When you are qualifying for continental stage, you get bonuses, and you, the coach, will get double of what the player states. Then also, when you also qualify for the tournament and you are going for the main tournament, the bonuses that you are going to get, you, the coach, will get double of what the players will get. Then also after that, if there is any trophy that you are going to win, you, the coach, will get some component of amount. These are performance-based contracts that the money sign. It doesn't necessarily mean that every coach should be based on monthly salary. So these contracts are always signed, and when I listened to them, they said they have not been paid. Almost all our coaches, whether it's the national team coach or it is that is the senior national team coach or the juvenile side from those I've mentioned, once they go to this tournament and whatever is due there, they are paid. So if you sign to this contract and later on you come and say you don't get monthly salary just because maybe the senior national team coach gets monthly salary, I don't think that it is fair. But before you even pay your signature, you know the terms and conditions.
That's how we wrap up for sports today. My name is Godwin Opoku.
You're welcome back. You're still watching ABC in the morning. Up next is Business Fix. On Business Fix, we look at everything which is pertinent to the financial sector. And today, Ghana has recorded a third consecutive surplus, trade surplus, in quarter 2 of 2024. We will be speaking to a trade policy expert about this surplus that has been recorded. The government statistician, Professor Samuel Enim, he presented a report on the GSS quarterly newsletter on trade statistics, and in this newsletter it showed that Ghana had recorded a surplus in quarter 2 of this year. This is the third consecutive surplus that Ghana has recorded, and the total trade value in the second quarter of this year 2024 has reached 123 billion Ghana cedis. It comprises 64.2 billion Ghana cedis in exports and 58.8 billion Ghana cedis in imports. 11.5 billion recorded in the first quarter of 2024. Regardless of the fact that we have made a surplus, we have made a trade surplus. However, if you compared it to the first quarter, we have made a deficit of 11 billion, some 11 billion Ghana cedis. Isaac Hubert Arthur is a trade policy expert, and he joins us via Zoom to discuss what it means for the industry that Ghana has recorded a surplus. Good morning, Hubert. Thank you for joining us on Business Fix. Good
also
morning,
to
sir.
your listeners and viewers as well.
Thank you. What does a trade surplus of 5.4 billion Ghana cedis in this second quarter signify for the overall economic health of Ghana?
I mean, for me, there's nothing too surprising about the trade surplus that we have recorded, because some of us who have been following Ghana's trade, policy space, or probably trade in general in Ghana, will be expecting even more surplus than this one. But of course, once this is a continuous surplus that has been recorded, then it means that there's something that we are doing fundamentally good, But we need to look at it in totality. We need to have a proper holistic assessment of the what has contributed to this trade surplus before we can say that actually this is having an effect in the overall economy of Ghana or not. So that's where we need to go. What are the sectors contributing to these trade surplus? If you have an economy that bold is the leading exports, where it's driving the entire export earnings, and it's helping you record a trade surplus, is this something that you must be happy about or not? And there are a lot of questions that we have to ask. Most of the export destination goes to Asia. And so if you have Asia being the top destination for Ghana's exports, and then one of the commodities that is pioneering this is gold, you ask yourself, where is it coming from? There's a correlation between trade and investment. So this should tell you where most of our investments or FDIs are coming from. And so this clearly depicts the dominance of Chinese investment in our mining sector. So if we have recorded trade surplus and gold is the leading export for our earning, and it further goes down to say that United Arab Emirates is the leading destination for our gold exports, followed by Switzerland and then South Africa. So all the investments these Chinese people are making in our gold mines, including Galamsey, the gold is exported back to Asia, which should be a good news because we earn some foreign. There's some foreign earnings from that. Okay, so it should be good news. But who does the foreign? Who earns the money? Where does the money go to? If most of these are expatriate Chinese investments that are heavily focused in the mining sector, are exploiting our gold and then exporting it outside, and then we are supposed to be earning some foreign income from it. Where is the money? Is the money coming to the government of Ghana? Or these same monies are, they are transferred back to the countries because there are a lot of foreigners involved. So the monies go back to, our trading partners.
Yes. Still on
if these monies remain in Ghana, that is good news.
On trading partners. Please go on. Please go on. After that, I'll ask my question.
Yeah, so it's clearly showing our trade patterns. It's clearly showing where our the investments are going. So it means that we have a lot of investment coming from Asia. Now, if you look at it clearly, export to Europe is continually declining, shifting the focus to Asia, and predominantly gold is the leading export for Ghana. So that should tell you that Chinese investment in Ghana is increasing. Whether it's in totality is for our good or it's for our bad, we cannot tell. So yes, primarily we should be happy that we have recorded trade surplus. If it were to be in agricultural products, I would be excited because that will show how our productive sectors are doing. It should to show that there are a lot of investment in our manufacturing, investment in our agribusiness and all of that. But if it is on gold, we all know the politics around the gold situation in Ghana. We are now crying that most of our river bodies have been spoiled by this Galamsey and all of that. And most of these, the investment in these areas are mostly from Asia. The Chinese are leading this. You get it. So I'm happy, but not in totality, because this must reflect, if we have trade surplus, it must reflect generally the progress, the growth of our economy. You get it?
Yeah.
So we need to, I think, focus on, go back. If you look at cocoa beans export has declined, both in value and both in the total share of our exports. So we want to see, yes, gold is also very important to the country, but there's a whole politics around, or there's a political economy around gold, how it is mined and, and all of that. So for me, I don't know whether we should be excited or not, but I want to see our cocoa beans being, becoming the leading export for us. Generally, agricultural goods should also be coming into play, because before agri sector was the major dominant for most of our trade, trade with the foreign partners. But now, if gold is leading, I'm not too enthused about it.
Well, Hubert, we know that
I want to see the trade patterns take a different turn. If even it's with Asia, because both import and exports is Asia that is leading.
Well, we know that gold is not a sustainable way of looking at things, because mining is not sustainable. It is not something that you can do in perpetuity. We have anchored our economy on cocoa for a very long time. For a while now, cocoa keeps declining to the point that in this report, we saw that there was a sharp decline for cocoa. What does it mean? What are the implications for our economy, for the livelihoods of the rural people, and what are the potential long-term effects on cocoa exports if this continues?
My dear, look, the areas where cocoa could be grown, I mean, cocoa productivity probably could increase are mostly the same areas where this mining, galamsey, this mini mining or galamsey mining is taking place. So the land degradation is a major, cause of our decline in cocoa production, because the lands are gradually, not becoming very useful for even agricultural purposes because of all this whole galamsey thing we are talking about. You get it? So if we are increasing gold exports over cocoa productivity, obviously our cocoa sector will decline. And for me, that is where it's a pity, because this is a country that is the #1, grower of cocoa beans. So we should be able to place emphasis on cocoa, especially when it comes to our investment. But it seems we are attracting the investment more in the area of the mining than even our cocoa production. There's a whole political economy issues or dilemma. I will even say policy dilemma issues when it comes to cocoa productivity over forest degradation or climate change, which is also mainly caused by these galamsey operations. You get it? So we need to have a policy shift to look at some of these productive sectors. Let's look at the cocoa sector. I mean, there are a lot of companies that began manufacturing chocolate in Ghana. Beyond Ghana, the cocoa processing company, there were a number of other private entities that were entering into the chocolate manufacturing sector in Ghana. Why can't we encourage them? Why can't we encourage more of these types of investments? So that we can make good use of the cocoa that we have. You see, let's invest more. Let's attract FDIs into the agricultural sector. This will be more sustainable. As you rightly said, I mean, gold exports or gold mine is not sustainable. All our lands are going. Our lands are the affable lands that we have that we can use to grow crops are going away, and we should be worried. So for us, I think, yes, it's good that we have recorded surplus, but it shouldn't just be a trade surplus for trade surplus sake. We must dissect it, we must analyze it and go into details, and realizing that it is gold that is leading the exports. For me, it's not something that we should be entirely happy about, because we need to go back to those days where we're focused on agriculture. We need to go back. I mean, now we have oil. Why can't oil even become, the leading export commodity for us? Why can't we grow the oil industry and increase our oil productivity? Right. You see, so those are sectors that can become more sustainable for us in the long run. But we are neglecting the fundamental, factors that contribute or should contribute to our economic growth. And we are getting excited because our gold exports are increasing. Yes, who doesn't like gold? But how is it benefiting the local people? How is it benefiting the economy, the local economy, communities? Are they benefiting from this? All the revenues go back to our investors who spend the money outside this country.
In looking at where the revenue goes to, we have gotten something very important from your submission, Hubert, and we thank you for joining us on Business Fix. We'll definitely be coming back for more conversations on these surpluses and how we can strengthen our local economy so that the agriculture becomes the driving factor for the economy. Thank you, Hubert. Thank you, Hubert, for joining us.
You're welcome.
Isaac Hubert Arthur is a trade policy expert, and he joined us on Business Fix. Up next is Ghana Speaks.
Times are hard in Ghana, extremely hard.
As we gear towards the 2024 general elections, there has been conversations around having a presidential debate. Will it happen or not? This is Ghana Speak.
And why we should have economic symposiums. Joining us on the line is Gordon Asare-Bediako. Thank you for joining us, sir. Good morning. Gordon Asare-Bediako, thank you for joining us this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning, my sister. How are you?
Fine, thank you, sir. Economic symposiums, what are the reasons why we hold them?
Well, it's a pleasure having me. You know, as media house, we have our responsibilities cut out for us to educate, inform, and then entertain. And as we are going for an election, just less than 80 days away, I think it's proper for us as a media house to give back to the society what you're supposed to do, for the people to know what the economic indicators are, the economic situation in the country, vis-a-vis data from IMF, World Bank, and all reputable sources. That's why we are here. And for me, today this is the fourth edition. We started in Accra, went to Kumasi, then went to Winneba last week, and we are in Sunyani today to offer Ghanaians the true state of the economy. So that's why we are bringing economists from, let's say, people from the academia, from UPSA, Sunyani Technical University, University of Ghana, Legon, and then GIMPA. They teach economics on campuses. So they are supposed to give us a fair idea of what the true state of the nature of the economy is, as compared to hearing from the voices of, let me see, the politicians or so-called neutrals. So that's why we are here today.
Okay. So for today's economic symposium, you have said that to give the true state of the economy, but what are some of the key objectives that you are looking at achieving by the end of the symposium?
Okay, so we don't look forward to understanding the impact of some policy like the free SHS, what has been its impact for the past 7 years, since implementation, the cost involved in it, and then we also look at the GDP rate, inflation, exchange rate, because we need people to be well educated, well informed on what these indicators mean for the citizenry. Per feedback from the first 3 editions, we realized that people actually just knew about, well, they've heard of GDP, they've heard of free SHS, but they didn't really appreciate the true impact of free SHS on the economy. And so we are here to emphasize on the fact that all these policies have enough impact on the economy. That's why we are here.
After the Sunyani edition, where next should we expect another?
We are looking at going to Koforidua and then Tamale and then back to Accra for the final one.
For the final.
At least we're going to have 3 editions before December 7th.
Well, we'll be looking forward to hearing what happens on the at the economic symposium. However, today's at Sunyani, who are some of the guests that we expecting?
Okay, so today in Sunyani we have 4 people from the academia. We have Dr. George Domfe, a development economist and a senior research fellow from University of Ghana. We have Professor Isaac Boadi, who is the Dean of Faculty of Accounting and Finance at UPSA. Then we have Dr. Frank Bano, lecturer at GEMPA. And then we have if I should see, we have a homeboy, Dr. Emmanuel Pokumafu, who is also a lecturer here in Sunyani. And then we're going to have the guest of honor in the person of Honorable Justina Owusu Banahine, who is the Minister.
Thank you, Gordon.
Thank you.
Gordon Asari Bediako is the managing editor for the ABC newspaper. There's an economic symposium in Sunyani today, and for those of you in Sunyani, you should maybe pass by and hear what it is about. That's all for Ghana Speaks. Stay with us. We'll be back. Of all the issues affecting their operations. So they are given a 14-day ultimatum. They say that the charges on them is too high. They are unable to shoulder the charges, and if nothing is done about it, they will demonstrate. So they have given the shipping lines a 14-day ultimatum. Let's take a look at their protest that happened on Tuesday. looking at the video from the protest on Tuesday, but they have marched to the key shipping companies and told them that these issues of overcharging should be looked at. Otherwise, there will be continuous protests. They have issued a 14-day ultimatum. In the next 14 days, if nothing is done to address their petitions, their situation, they will continue to protest. There will be a continuous protest. Amongst the shipping lines that the GIF went to present their petition are the Mediterranean Limited and the Ghana Ports and Harbours Limited in Tema. The Ghana freight forwarders are saying that take a look at our petition. Assess and
would anybody pay freight as port authority?
Protest.
Administrative, they should tell us what administrative time. And they know more administrative. What are they administrating? What are they administrating just to release one container or 20 containers for you? One container, 50,000. 50,000. Oh, tell it around. The point is that it is even not stable. BOG has said that nobody should charge the dollars. The exchange rate issue that we continue to talk about this country, we have told government and we are telling the government.
We are defending the cause of Ghana. We are making our nation great.
Would anybody pay freight as port authority? You get here, they slap you with and so-called administrative. They should tell us what administrative time. And they know more administrative. What are they administrating? What are they administrating just to release one container or 20 containers for you? One container, 50,000. 50,000. It is even not stable. BOG has said that nobody should charge the dollars. The exchange rate issue that we continue to talk about this country, we have told government and we are telling the government.
Also, this is from the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders GIF, demonstrating against the overcharges at the port. We have joining us Eddie Akron, who is the immediate past president for the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. Thank you for joining us, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. As a past president, what do you make of the concerns from your institute?
So basically, these are very genuine concerns, and I think the whole country, the country as a whole, should take them very seriously because of the effects that it has. I'll have to take you a little bit back, some time back, so you'd understand the genesis of this whole thing. Back in the 80s, when a lot of goods were imported into this country, they were coming in crates, in barrels, in sacks, and all that. Now, containerization started a bit late, and then by the time containers started getting into Ghana, as a means of import, we did not have the right facilities in our ports. And so for the Takoradi and Tema ports, when vessels came in bearing containers, it took a long time because we didn't have the right facilities, like the ship-to-shore cranes. And so if a vessel came into port, it could take maybe a week to two just to, offload one vessel, which is a very bad thing in the shipping business because they call it turnaround time, which is very important. And so the shipping lines resorted to that, okay, to facilitate their vessels from leaving quite early, they were going to employ their own, stevedoring companies who would do the, offloading of their containers at the ports, which was not right because when you come to a port, it is the port that has to take care of that. And then you pay them. And so the minister, the finance minister at the time, Mr. Kwesi Botre, decided, okay, look, since it is our duty to do this, and then they are going to take over the offloading themselves, then let us allow them to charge a certain small fee. So until then, this wasn't happening. Now, why is it so? Because when you pay freight for any cargo coming from outside, what it means is that any shipping line coming into this country knows the custom of this port, that when I get into Ghana, this is how much I'm going to pay for stevedoring, this is how much I pay for the port fees, this is how much I pay to Ghana Maritime Authority or Ghana. So they know all of that. Now, all of that, including their fuel and their profits, have been factored into the freight that you pay out there. So once your vessel gets here, you just show your bill of lading and they have to release the container to you because the contracts, even on the bill of lading, says that this is from container yard to container yard. So you're paid. Once you get here, just allow me to take my goods. No. Now, this takes me back to the story of this $10 fee that they were allowed to charge at the time. Now, mind you, coming into the country right now, we have one of the best ports in the region, okay? And so turnaround time is very short for them. They don't spend time anymore. But what has happened? Their fees have now quadrupled and they have all sorts of strange fees in there. Cleaning fees, they have terminal handling charges, empty container charges, TJT handling charges, which is all wrong. And this is quite dubious. We have complained several of my predecessors. There are several letters that have gone to the minister, to Parliament, some have gone to the Trade Minister, the Transport Minister, that this practice should stop. And they are making a huge gain on this thing because it's a double charge. Okay? And how this affects us is also is that these monies that they take from us locally, although they have charged it already, they will take back to their countries and then they'll have to change it, into USD and take it out. And that, you see why we're having serious issues with the Forex. And so this is what we've been asking government to look at. Thirdly, they're also taking our jobs because what they've tried to do now, they have, gotten their own companies and they're doing the business of customs in Ghana, which is against the law because the Act 891, Section 43 specifically states that a non-Ghanaian, that is, if you are not an indigenous Ghanaian company, you cannot do the business of what? Customs. And so this is what has been going on. This is why by this time, at this point, we realized that, look, we would have to take matters into our hands and then push them, make sure they do the right thing.
But in taking matters into your hands, Mr. Akron, how far can you go with protesting? Shouldn't there be another avenue that you would rather resort to?
Like I told you earlier, there are avenues. We have talked to we've gone to the ministers, we've gone to Parliament, we've tried all that we can. We realize, look, there are several letters on the file here which I have in the office. They will surprise you. They are written to, they asked to stop these charges. The following week, they are back at it and they keep doing it. And every time they're increasing. Worst part, they are not even standing by, using the Bank of Ghana's exchange rates to do their business. They have their own exchange rates that they use. If the exchange rate for the week right now is 16, some are charging 17 point something, some are charging 18 USD. But at the end of the day, all they want to do is take out all this money and take it out of the country. So what we are doing, we're going to help. We're helping government. Actually, we're bringing a whole lot of attention to it so that this will be on the, on the front burner.
One of the things we have heard or we understand is that most of your agitations are centered around the new Shipping Act. What is included in the act that does not just sit well with the GIF?
Okay, I don't know if we want to divert from the shipping line matter on into the Shipping Act,
into it. So since we have you today, we would want to hear that.
Wow. Okay. Because they're basically we don't want to take attention from. So there's a new Shipping Act which has gone to it's gone to Parliament. I mean, unfortunately, they got us involved very late, and so we found out there were things that we thought they didn't sit right, which is going to add to the cost of doing business, and also the time, and also the bureaucracy. So these are things that we have pointed out to the Ghana Shippers Authority. Unfortunately, it had gone through Parliament already, so we have to write to the President, and he has acknowledged receipt of our letter. I will
come back to you real shortly, so please hold on with us whilst we come back to you. But we are still on the conversation of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, who have, with other custom agents and stakeholders, given shipping lines across the country a 14-day deadline to address their grievances or continue to face protests, because they are saying that excessive and exploitative charges are what they are battling with at the ports. They are in their country doing the work they want to do. However, the shipping lines they are working within the country are not helping them. They are paying too much. They are spending too much on charges, and because of that, they are tired of all of the charges they are paying. We've been speaking to Eddie Akrong, who is the immediate past president of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. He's given us some background on why this has gotten to this stage from the beginning up until now. We've diverted him a little bit to the act, to the new act, the Shipping Act, and we'll be speaking with him more on it. But joining us on phone is Johnny Mante. He is the chairman of the Institute of Freight Forwarders. He is the chairman of the Institute of the Freight Forwarders. So we have the past president of GIF joining us, and also the current chairman of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. Mr. Mante, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
As chairman of the Freight Forwarders, your concerns are the excessive charges by the shipping lines, and because of that you are protesting. I asked Mr. Akrong how far protests can get to. Let me ask you the same question. What is the end game to these protests?
Thank you very much. Sorry. So, simply put, tomorrow we are picketing at Hapag-Lloyd. One of the shipping lines will be picketing there tomorrow. We call it Occupy Hapag-Lloyd. That's what we are doing tomorrow. And this will continue with all the shipping lines in the subsequent days. Again, we are presenting a petition to the Minister of Finance. We are presenting a petition to the Minister of Trade, and of course the Minister of Transport. One of the petitions will also go to the minister, the chairman of the Management team, and of course the Speaker of Parliament. So these and other things are geared, or we have set it out that these are some of the things that we'll be doing going forward. I believe the issue is quite simple, and until these demands are met in the next 14 days, these are some of the actions that will be taken. Of course, we have also met with the trade associations, don't forget. So, in fact, the first time we met, they had asked that we cease paying duties and stuff, but we said no. This is we have to go through certain processes and certain channels before we get there. So, at the moment, these are the channels that we are taking.
But in your picketing and in these 14 days of ultimatum, won't it affect your work as freight forwarders?
No, not at all.
Okay. Mr. Mante, what has been the challenges of the members of your institute in this period? We know you have spoken about the high cost and all. But what have been your challenges, especially with the introduction of the new Shipping Act?
Well, with the new Shipping Act, our challenges are very, very simple. The fact that if you fail to register with the authority, you get to go to jail. I have not seen in my life any act that prescribes that a person doesn't register with anybody, the person has to go to jail. I think that it doesn't work like that. If I import cargo and I have to register with a certain body, of course, in this instance, the GSA, and for that reason, you are penalized, or you get to go to have a jail term. I don't think that is fine. I think those are the issues that we've raised regarding the law. But the reason why I don't probably want to go on with that act is that we've petitioned the president of the land. We've also done a letter to the Attorney General. They've responded to these letters and they said that they are looking into the matter. Of course, don't forget that the act itself has not been assented to by the president. And we are hoping that he will stay on that until those few bits and bobs are taken care of, and then he can actually accent to it. So those are the issues that we are looking at.
Mr. Mate, we understand that the new act requires that you register with the Ghana Shippers Authority, and it is because of this registration that is also causing the agitation. Is that something at the Ghana Shippers Authority that you just do not want to attach yourself with?
The question again, please.
We understand that the issue, one of your major issues, is the fact that you need, by the new act, you need to register with the Ghana Shippers Authority. Is there an issue, or is there something that is with the Shippers Authority that you just do not want to associate yourselves with the authority?
From the inception of that act, we have been part of drafting that act. When we met with the authority, when we met with the authority at the drafting stage, there was nothing like criminalization of freight forwarders or importers. So for us, it was quite bizarre for us to find out finally that portion has been embedded in the act. Of course, don't forget that there are other portions. We've stated our issues in terms of the portions that we are not too happy about. The long and short of that story is that we believe that our petition to the president is enough, for which reason the president has still assented to that bill, and the portions that we have said that should be expunged from that bill will be taken care of. Once that is expunged, we are fine and we can move on with that.
Okay. Eddie Akrong, welcome back. Thank you for joining us. So we have both Eddie Akrong and Johnny Mante on the line joining us for this conversation. As persons who are stakeholders in this community of freight forwarders, what are some of the things, let me ask you, Eddie, what are some of the things that government can put in place to cushion freight forwarders from some of these exorbitant charges and make your life easier, especially Ghanaians?
Thank you very much. I like the angle that you're coming from, that this is it's a Ghanaian matter. It's not just a freight forwarders matter. I don't know if they remember that, these importers or traders in Ghana, they're not Father Christmas, excuse me to say, that they come bearing, free gifts. At the end of the day, all these charges are going to be borne by you and I because we go to the market. But secondly, and most importantly also, like I mentioned earlier, they are out now to take our jobs, even from our youth. You understand? Because what they're doing now, they've set up their own, freight forwarding, customs house agency businesses. And so they are taking our business. And the immoral part of it is that they carry the manifests for the vessels, the goods that they bring on their vessels, the manifests are borne by them. And so they choose all the juicy projects and all that, and then try to attack, our members by saying, they go to our clients, blacklist us, that in the name of the fact that maybe we owe some huge monies, and so we are being blacklisted, and so they would want to do the clearing for them. And then they take our businesses, which I said earlier is against the law, because at 891 section 43 says that no foreigner, unless you're an indigenous Ghanaian business, no foreigner can do the business of customs in Ghana, period. I mean, there's no two ways about it. And so that is what it is. At the end of the day, if nothing happens, they're going to continue to do. They're taking our jobs, and our youth are going to lose jobs. It's going to affect the economy. They are taking out monies, as I said, all these huge monies that they are taking out, which is, of course, is dubious. I mean, it's a double charge. They are taking it out of the country. It's our forex that is leaving our shores. And so it is very important that we take a serious look at this matter.
Okay. Johnny Mante, I want to ask you this question. Away from the issue of jail term for persons who fail, to register, the Deputy Minister for Trade engaged the Select Committee extensively before this act came out. Don't you think that there are certain elements of the act that seeks to protect you, the freight forwarders?
We have been advocates for the Shippers Authority since 2012. There is no other institution within the supply chain, within the port sector, port community that supports the Shippers Authority like the freight forwarders do. Since LI 2012, LI 2190 2012. So for us, we have always been good advocates of the Shippers Authority. In fact, it's on record, and they will tell you that we are the only group that consistently go to the Shippers Authority to negotiate our fees. Nobody, no other person does. Not the shipping lines. For once, the shipping lines have not done that for once since 2012. Okay, so in terms of advocacy for the Shippers Authority, it is the freight forwarder that does that. So when we come out and we tell you there are portions in the Act that are problematic, we are very sincere about these things that we are talking about. Okay. And I would like to, if you don't mind, I would like to add to what my president just said. What happens within the space, especially with the shipping lines attitude, it is not detrimental to just freight forwarders. It is detrimental to you. It is detrimental to your uncle or your brother or your grandmother sitting in probably Kumasi. Because don't forget, we all buy from the same market. The exchange rate issues that we have talked about, it is the shipping lines that are driving the exchange rate. Today, some people are even projecting or predicting that by December, the rate will be $1 to 20 $1 to 20 cedis. And it is the shipping lines. Look, whether we like it or not, Ghana is an import-dependent country. What does that tell you? The implication of that is that goods will continue to come in. Don't forget, there are goods and stuff will continue to come in. Today, Tema Port will receive the largest vessels in the world. What does that mean? It means that there are lots of cargo that will be coming our way. And all this cargo coming our way, the shipping lines are collecting monies that they are not supposed to collect. They are picking up trillions of Ghana cedis that you and I, or the importer, the trader, would have used to purchase goods and come and set up businesses here. Now, these monies are free monies. So which means that if somebody was bringing 2 containers, he will now be able to bring only 1 container. The trillions of cedis that they are bringing in, don't also forget, let's walk with me. That the trillions of Ghana cedis that they are collecting, they are picking up, they are not even spending that money in Ghana. They are chasing the same dollar. What does your 101 economics tell you? That where you chase a certain commodity, what happens? The price of that commodity will go up. So the dollar continues to go up because of the activities of the shipping lines. So all the issues that has been going on in this country, tomorrow you go to the market, prices have gone up. It's because of these shipping lines. Why would you import cargo into town and the shipping line tells you he's charging you what he calls cleaning fee? Cleaning. They are telling you cleaning fee. What is cleaning fee? They're charging US dollars. All these monies have already been collected at the port of loading. So before you ship your container, even if your container, let's pick our friends from Abosokai who import spare parts and what have you. They have spare parts and they have engines. we assume that some of these engines will drip oil, correct? So the container has to be cleaned. But mind you, that monies have been factored into the freight. That service in cleaning the container has been factored into the freight. So that has been paid at the port of loading. So when your container gets here, when that Boso kind guy who has struggled to collect some small money and imported that container into town, he doesn't have to come and pay cleaning fee in dollars here again. And these are the monies running into trillions of Ghana cedis that they are collecting. They are collecting administrative fee. Now you tell me, after this Aboso kind guy has brought his container, paid administrative fee at the port of loading, because he will pay administrative at the port of loading because they have to do documentation to ship his cargo. Now that money has been paid. The container gets to Tema. The shipping lines are collecting administrative fee of over close to $1,000. Now tell me, what are they administrating on a document? What? By tapping on a few keys to release the cargo. Is that what you are collecting? You term as administrative fee. Some call it release fee. So
Mr. Johnny Mante.
Yes, madam.
Yes, we fully understand the conversation we are having, and we'll be coming back to this conversation, especially after the 14 days have elapsed, to see how far your institute has gone in these engagements. Thank you to you and Mr. Eddie Akrong for
Please don't
time.
be coming. It's a quick one. Don't come back to us at 14. It's like I told you, we'll be picketing at the shipping lines from tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow.
Join us in that work, yes.
Right. Thank you for joining us, sir.
You're welcome.
Mr. Eddie Akrong, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Eddie Akrong is the immediate past president for the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, and Johnny Mante is the chairman of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. They've given us some insights on what they are doing and the problems the freight forwarders in Ghana are facing. We are moving on to our next topic, or our next discussion in our main discussion segment, and we are looking at a report by the Institute of Economics and Peace, IEP, a peace report. We want to see what the report has said, and we are looking at the impact this report has on our peace as a people in the country. In this report, it says that Ghana has fallen to 55th in the 2024 Global Peace Index. Ghana has fallen to 55th in the 2024 Global Peace Index. And Ghana's peacefulness has seen a significant drop. The country now ranks at 55 on the 2024 Global Peace Index GPI. It is a decline from our 51st position in 2023 and a very sharp decline, a sharp fall from our 40th position in 2022. So in 3 years or in 2 years, we have fallen very sharply and a blight on our peace as a country. The report was produced by the Institute for Economics and Peace, IEP. We'll be speaking with Dr. Vladimir Nchidanso, who is the Dean and Director of Academic Affairs for the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College. Before we speak with Doctor, let's take some graphics on this report from IEP. So this is the Global Peace Index report. Global Peace Index report. Ghana ranks 55 on the 2024 Global Peace Index. Ghana ranks 2025 on the 2024 Global Peace Index. Last year, we ranked 51. In 2022, we ranked 44. From 2022, Ghana has now fallen all the way to 55. The report was released in June of this year by the Institute of Economics and Peace. The Institute of Economics and Peace. They released this report in June 2024. It was done out of 163 countries. So out of 163 countries, Ghana ranked 55. And they used a population of 99.7 to do this ranking. Ghana in Africa, in the sub-Saharan peace rankings, Ghana is now 4th. in the Sub-Saharan Peace Rankings, Ghana is 4th, following Mauritius, Madagascar, and Botswana. We previously ranked 2nd. We used to hold the 2nd spot. However, we are now ranking 4th. In 2022, Ghana ranked 40th on the index globally. This time, in 2024, we are ranking 55th, which is a 15-spot drop. Very worrying to us as a people. Doesn't mean that we are not a peaceful country. What does it mean to us? It is for this matter that we'll be speaking with persons who can give us more insights on this conversation. We will be speaking to Dr. Vladimir Ntwi Danso, who is the Dean of the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us, sir. So we are. Sir, kindly position yourself a little properly so that we can see you better on the Zoom.
Are we okay?
Yes, we are. Thank you, sir.
Right.
In 2024, Ghana is ranking 55th on the Global Peace Index. 2 years ago, we ranked 40. What will this decline? What might the decline in our peace ranking affect our economy, particularly in the lead up to the elections? Sir, kindly set up a bit so we can see you.
Are we okay?
Sir, we need you to set up so that we can see you better. There's space in.
I think I'm okay, right?
We can only see half of your face, sir. The space above your head is way more than we can see you.
Oh, that's interesting, but my video is not showing that.
Okay. Well, we will alert you when it looks better. But sir, back to our question. How might this ranking affect our peace, affect the country's economy, particularly in the lead up to the elections?
I do not see the essence of the question because there's no link between whatever they say is the problem with your peace ranking and your development. The point is that somebody is using some variables in ranking you, in talking about the peace levels, say food levels or water level, whatever it is. It doesn't mean you don't have water. It doesn't mean you don't have food. But it's saying the levels by the variables we are using in ranking is that you are low. For me, we don't have to give such things any currency. Because what we need to do is to understand our own peace. What we need when we talk about peace in a country. I'm always saying that for people to understand their own peace and security, they must use the Human Security Index. The Human Security Index is the best way of assessing whether a country is peaceful or not. Do we have food security? Do we have environmental security? Do we have economic security, political security? Those things are the things that give a country its peace. But if you say Switzerland is so peaceful and almost, or America is peaceful and every day students are shooting their own kind in schools, they take their father's guns and go and shoot or whatever it is, then the variables we are using may not be that universal. I believe the best universal way of ranking a country's peace is to use the Human Security Index, where people have their own human security. There's 7, when you take the typology of the human security, 7 variables that you use in measuring. How are people working? How are people having food security? How are people having political security, environmental security, community security, personal security, physical security? If these things are prevalent in the country, there will be no problem. Because conflicts are endemic in society, whether we like it or not. They are endemic. Without them, there is no country. There is no society. And therefore, to use variables that are alien to our socio-historical realities and say Ghana was 10 yesterday and 54, 55, well, I have no quarrel about that. But my point is this, that if Ghana is 55 out of 193 countries, then at least we are doing well. I'll compare myself to other countries and say I'm doing well in the sense of say Sudan, Libya, Ethiopia, Somalia, and those countries, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Gabon. If I look at these countries, then I think we are doing well, we are in heaven. If I compare Ghana to just a neighboring country like Nigeria, then I think we are better off. I don't think if you give me 100 million a day to stay in Nigeria, I would love to stay in that country. Because the tension is so much. And what they have said has nothing to do with our elections, I believe. It has nothing to do with that. And I don't want journalists or politicians to, to rake in whatever it is that they can to inure to their benefit. That we were 51 some days back and 55 today has nothing to do with our elections. It has nothing to do with our security. It has nothing to do with our development generally. What we need to know is that somebody is watching us and they say, hey, careful about this and that. They are using variables like military, brutalization and what. Which country brutalizes people more than America, for example? Poor innocent students were picketing in support of Palestine. And all we see is the gendarmes brought in to come and pick them, brutalizing them on the street, left, right, center.
Well, sir, we understand.
So when we talk about military brutality, it's when the police are. I'm listening.
No, sir, please go on.
Hello?
Yes, sir. At a point, we lost you.
Yeah. I'm saying military brutalities will always come in. Okay. Military brutalities as a measure they are using in measuring Ghana. And I'm saying militarization is a different thing. But when the police are overwhelmed in every country, the military is called. It is the only organization that can bring about some kind of security in any country. And they have that right, constitutional right, to ensure that the country does not implode, that the civil authorities are and they come in. So I don't think that or any other place than Ghana.
Okay. Going into the elections, the 2024 elections, but before we move on, please position yourself again. So, sir, if you are using a laptop, Dr. Vladimir Ntwi-Danso, can you position the laptop so that it will capture?
I'm using a tabletop.
A tabletop. Okay, then it will mean that we'll have to adjust your seat a little bit.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Is it okay? I've tried to adjust the screen.
So just come up a little bit. Elevate a little bit.
Up. Like this?
Yes, it is better. Thank you.
It's better, right?
Yes, it is.
Well, how about this?
Yes, it is better.
Okay.
You mentioned Human Security Index, and it's on the back of these that we should look at the peace in a country. One of the things you mentioned is food, work, and our environment. Yes. Unfortunately, Galamsey, the issue of illegal mining keeps taking the center stage in the country, and we keep losing some of the vegetation that we should have as a people. Cocoa farmers are selling their lands to Galamseyers. Now we are bemoaning eating food that may be laced with cyanide and mercury and all of that. Some young persons have also, who are involved in Galamsey, have said that this is where they get more money, and they are not looking forward at changing that to another. Dr. Ntwi-Danso, don't you think that those things pose a threat to our peace as a nation? Because now we want to clamp down on Galamsey. Obviously, to come with some pushback and agitation. Because people are selling their lands, our food keeps dropping. We are not getting enough food as we used to get. And so food is a little expensive than it used to be. Aren't those threats to our security, our peace as a nation?
They are great threats. That's why I'm saying let's use those parameters in measuring our own. So food security. How secure are we where our food is concerned? We are not. And the Galamsey is an environmental thing, so environmental security is not there. So these are things I was talking about, and we need to that it needs. Unfortunately, as my friend Professor Kwesi has said, see, politically minded criminals, I'm quoting him, politically minded criminals and criminally minded politicians have that kind of solidarity in trying to make sure that Galamsey doesn't die. But if we have the political will to cure it, unfortunately, we have politicized Galamsey. One party says, when I come, I will remove all those who were in prison because of Galamsey out of prison. Another said, I put my presidency online, I'm going to kill Galamsey. And because of that, we are unable to do it. We have all what it takes to kill Galamsey in this country, but we are not. Because I think most chiefs, most politicians, and other persons of higher ranking are all benefiting from Galamsey. So our food security is not there, environmental security is not there, and therefore in the future we are going to have problems with our other things like water and everything. So you're right. I believe that this is the time. I think we went to Galamsey, we went against Galamsey forcefully about some 2 years ago, and we relapsed. We relaxed. Today, Galamsey is engulfing us very seriously, and I believe within the past 2 weeks, the show of concern by civil society organizations, by other well-meaning Ghanaians, should tell the government that everybody is backing any government that will come or is in place to tackle Galamsey once and for all. Most of people, and I am one of those who are saying that let's have a moratorium, minimum of 20 years of moratorium on Galamsey. No mining, won't die. What we are getting from mining and the destruction that we are giving to the ecology are such that it's a mismatch. Very soon, our water bodies will all be dead. We'll be importing water. We have what it takes to import water. Very soon, babies to be yet unborn will be coming out with some diseases. Already, people are having kidney diseases and that sort of. The pesticides we are using, and because of the water that we use in watering even these fruits and that sort of thing that we plant. So I strongly suspect that yes, it is a big blow to our security. So we must tackle it as part of our security efforts. Unfortunately, we aren't doing anything. What we are doing is just scrapping the surface. We need to go deeper and halt Galamsey.
Dr. Ntweedang, so in the past couple of months, we have realized that there is a certain amount of disaffection towards our security agencies, especially the police service. Ghanaians, we understand that the police is your friend. However, Ghanaians now don't see the police as their friends and think that the police is not working in the interest of the Ghanaian, but rather in the interest of the higher authorities. How can we bridge this gap and also go back to that relationship that we believe the police and the regular Ghanaians should have, especially as we are entering into a period like the election period?
It's a very interesting and very good question. The point is this, that it looks as though Ghanaians don't understand the police, and the police also have not made it possible for Ghanaians to understand them. I remember IGP Alassane started something which was very, very important, community policing. The old system which we inherited from the colonialists, where barracksing is the problem. Police are in barracks and we see them only in uniform and they are used to suppress and repress us. It's still that mentality that we have. Unfortunately, constitutionalism and democracy has not eaten into us well. We don't respect the police because we don't understand them. How can you go on a demonstration and it turns into rioting? People don't understand the difference. If you go on a demonstration and you are picketing and you are showing leaflets and placards, the police will even make a corridor for you. They will assist and in helping you. But the point is this, that when you turn that thing into rioting is when you are destroying, creating confusion and making it impossible for others to have their freedom. Then the police will have to come in everywhere in the world. I think in heaven, even if you riot, Jesus will call the angels against you. So rioting is something which we do do over here, we call it demonstration, and we call it my human rights. No, it's wrong. So I believe the police should intensify their community policing. They should intensify their effort to let the society understand them. The current IGP is doing much of that. But you see, politicization of our institutions is also another problem. It looks as though when we are not in power and the police come against us, then we think it is the government hand. Institutions have their remit in the Constitution. So if you think the police are doing something which is against the Constitution, you go to court. There's another institution. You don't point fingers at the government. I remember Kumi Preho, and then we pointed fingers at the government. I remember another incident where one of the demonstrants was hit by a police bullet and the eye went off. A minister had the effrontery to come to say that, oh, it's not the police bullet, and the person had used some tomatoes to just smear the ear and the eye, and he's saying that the police bullet. Such things do not augur well for our country. Elsewhere, you respect the institutions of state, because without the institutions of state, there's no governance. We don't respect our police, and that is not very good. We don't respect our police. The police have done a lot in the past to show that, look, we are for you. Without you, we are not there. This morning, I heard somebody castigating the police for not being able to hold Galamsey, and that there were some videos brought by some place. If we understood the police, what we would do is that when you have information, you give it to the police. Without information, the police cannot act. Without any report, they cannot act. They will do their own investigations anyway, quietly, and then act. But then mostly, it is the society that makes the police that they want. If you see some rot and you don't want to report to the police, then why do you blame the police? So I believe it takes two to tango. The police must do enough for us to understand them and believe in them. We ourselves must understand constitutionalism. If we understand constitutionalism, then we will respect the police where their respect is due. So this is my take on that. We must actually, getting to elections, there are people who are criminals who are bent on being criminals. And the police will be bent on being police. So that is to be expected. My advice is this, that it doesn't make sense to just confront the police for confrontation's sake. They have a power to prevent, to arrest, and prosecute. This is what Act 350 of the Police Act gives them. Three things. Prevent. So they will prevent any crime. They will try to prevent any crime, criminal activity from taking place. So they will assist society. You know, I remember in the US, I got lost. I missed my exit. And then where I was going, to not knowing the police were following me, I got myself into a cul-de-sac. And then they asked me to stop. They checked everything and they knew that I was not a criminal. Then I told them how I got lost. Would you believe that one police vehicle was ahead of me, another was behind me, to take me all the way to my house? You have to assist. They have to, the police everywhere in the world have to prevent crime. They are preventing somebody from hurting me. They are preventing anything. If I were a criminal also, they would have arrested me. Then they have to arrest when I have done something. That's their second thing. So prevention, arrest, and prosecution. These are the three things that the police do. And we must understand them. When we understand them, it's a very fine institution for our civil existence.
Dr. Mfidan, so going into the elections, in the sub-region, we realize that Ghana is the one country that is better placed above her contemporaries as a very peaceful country if you compare to her contemporaries. We are entering into an election, and we know that in this country, election time are volatile times, and it's during elections that you can't compromise the security of the nation. What are some of the strategies that we must adopt as a country so that our peace and security is guaranteed? Apart from the engagements that we do, the NCC does to teach people on how to go and vote, what to do, promoting peace and all. What are some of the strategies that the higher ups must adopt so that we can maintain the peace that we are relatively enjoying in the sub-region?
That's very interesting, my dear sister. I think we don't have to concentrate on the higher ups alone, because they will give instructions. The lower downs also must advise themselves. I believe when I go to church, I'm not expecting the pastor to tell me what to do. When I have the Bible, I must also comport myself before he teaches me most of the things in the Bible. So we ourselves have to educate ourselves. The journalists, we have a big role to play. You know, we always churn out what the high-ups are saying, but what is our role as journalists? You know, you have to educate, inform, and entertain. So in our education, we should be able not necessarily to arouse feelings, but be able to also educate our persons. What is our elections? Of course, elections are combative kind of conflict.
So
everywhere.
Before you move on, kindly sit up again because we have lost you in our frame another time.
Is that okay?
Yes, it's better.
Good. What I'm saying is this, that elections are a serious conflictual kind of combative system, and people want to win. People don't want to lose. That brings about the essence of the conflict. And so in such a situation, those of us who are going to vote and we want X, not Y, should know that one should win. A winner takes all kind of thing. It's more combative. We need to advise our people that, one, I have that right to go and vote. You vote, you go home. I have that right to know the result. Finished. I have no right to go and do the counting. I am not the one to do the counting. There is an institution which we have lost. At the very, is the very institution we are going to destroy. So where do we stand? So we are creating the platform for some kind of insecurity. Here of democracy is not allowed in democracy. Of autocracy is not allowed in democracy. So knowing this, we should go to educating ourselves. The Peace Council is doing, the NCC is doing a lot. Journalists, let's also, because where we have reached in our democracy, like you said, we need what is called consolidation. We don't need to backtrack. If you look at around us, democracy has been hiccuping very badly all around us. What we need is to consolidate our democracy, give it more cement, and get the platform of democracy well put in Ghana.
Finally, before you go, Dr. Nchidanso, it seems that people who do not have any idea or who have not been abreast with issues of coup and the adverse effects of coup keep sounding the coup drum anytime they get the opportunity to speak. How can we stop this attitude of always sounding for of military interference in the governing of the country? Because persons have seen coups happening around us as a nation and seemingly believe that those have brought some relief to the countries that the coup happened in. How can we reduce or even eradicate this penance of always wanting to sound the drum of coup anytime a conversation comes up? Hello, Dr. Nchidanso.
Yes. I'm saying, hello, do you hear me now?
I can hear you, sir.
Oh my God. Is it better now? Maybe the internet it's not, it's fluctuating.
It is, but sir,
do you hear me now?
On. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Those who are beating those drums, coup drums, don't even understand what a coup is. I must state here and now that the days of conspiratorial coups are over. If there is any political party or political gurus in this country who think they can bribe any platoon mates of any soldiers to make a coup in Ghana, he doesn't know what he's talking about. It will not succeed. Those days are over. When some sergeant can just say, oh, platoon mate or some lieutenant, you call Kwesi Mensah and that sort of thing, let's make a coup. And then when they succeed, they suppress everything. It can never happen again. Those days are over. In those countries where these coups have succeeded, Mali, Niger, Gabon, and others, watch out. It is what I call systemic coups. Coups made by higher officers, not the flight lieutenants and the sergeant does. These are systemic coups in the sense that they have seen that the state is imploding. When there is so much chaos, nothing works. No institution is working. People are killing each other. The police cannot work. Military cannot work. Then the higher echelon of the military take it upon themselves to save the country. So it is generals who of late, generals who are making the coups to save the country from total implosion. So Mali is an example of that. In 2012, I just said that, and I warned that it was coming, and it came. Gabon is an example. Niger is an example. So these generals saved the country. We are nowhere near any implosion in Ghana where the generals will make any coup. And I tell you, I've been working with the military for how many years? Since 1998. And I don't think today there is that coup mentality among any of the officers. If you see any officer, you begin to talk about coup, they will lock you out. So we are not going to have that. So we ourselves should not be interested in making any attempt at forcing some miscreants in the army to make a coup. If they do, they won't succeed. I can assure you that no conspiratorial coup will succeed in Ghana. But when we ourselves decide to kill the country through whatever it is, demonstrations and killings here and there, and the country is ungovernable, then the military will set it. That one I can assure you, it's done everywhere in the world. The military has the sole right to step in to make sure that the country is safe. So ordinary coup that people are calling for will never happen. We are nowhere near. Ghana is a heaven. We have food around, we have power around all the time, we have petrol, we have everything. Check Nigeria. Read their newspapers of yesterday and that sort of thing. See how they are suffering, even a big country like Nigeria. You know, but we are nowhere there. We have everything in Ghana, only that things are expensive, like inflationary trends and whatnot. So things are difficult a little. It doesn't mean some sergeant or some flight lieutenant should go and make a coup. So those who are calling for it, they don't understand it. They don't. I don't think they believe they do. And the generality of Ghanaians are not yearning for any coup to save the country from where and from what.
Thank you, Dr. Ntwi Danso.
You are very welcome.
Dr. Vladimir Ntwi Danso is the Dean and Director of Academic Affairs at the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College. He joined us for our discussion. This is all for our main discussion for today. Let's head straight into politics today. Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching ABC in the morning on ABC News GH. For politics today, we are looking at the new force with their leader, Nana Kwame Bediako, popularly known as Cheddar. Now Kwame Bediako, in launching his manifesto, called his manifesto the 12 pillars of economic growth. Isn't it curious that after his 12 pillars of economic growth, he goes for balloting to be on the ballot paper come December 7, and he picks number 12. You know Ghanaians and how we attach meaning to everything. And now Kwame Bediako, 12 pillars of economic freedom, picks number 12 for the elections, and very particular on the 12 pillars of economic freedom. He says that his pillar 9 is going to be the apostolic government. Apostolic government. Let's get back into the Bible. Jesus had 12 disciples, 12 apostles. And that Kwame Bediako's apostolic governance is going to have industrialization, Senate revolution, 16 regional industrial revolution, energy city and technology hub, amongst others. He even mentioned that the Western region, he is going to make the Western region the Texas of Ghana. Going to make the Western region the Texas of Ghana. And when you look at polls that have been churned out, it seems that amongst the independent candidates, Nana Kwame Bediako ranks on top. Ghanaians seem to like what they are seeing when you pick the independent candidates, and they believe that of all of the independent candidates who are standing, Nana Kwame Bediako ranks higher than the rest. So we are looking at Nana Kwame Bediako and what he seeks to achieve when voted as president, in hopes that he becomes president. So the new fourth 12 pillars of economic freedom. Pillar 9, the apostolic government. He says he will run the leanest government in Ghana's history, and it will consist of only 12 ministers. He will run the leanest government in Ghana's history, and it will consist of 12 ministers. He also says he will transform the Ministry of Finance into a strategic investor and developer for nation building. He will transform the Ministry of Finance into a strategic investor and developer for nation building. So that is what Cheddar, who is popularly known as Cheddar, Nana Kwame Bediako, the leader of the new force, is looking at doing. So you see 12 showing in everything. 12 pillars to economic freedom. He's going to run 12 ministers. He's going to have 12 ministers, and it is with these 12 ministers that he will be running his government. And he says that the pillars will be pillar 1. Let's run through the pillars that he's looking at using to run Ghana if Ghanaians give him the nod to become president. He says 16 industrial revolution, that is pillar 1. Pillar 2 is Ghana's first water transportation and sub-regional railway. Pillar 3, energy city and technology hub. Pillar 4 is reserves. Pillar 5, national sovereign wealth fund. He's going to have a national sovereign wealth fund. Pillar 6, the Senate revolution. Pillar 7, industrification, that is industrialization and education. Pillar 8, environmental and human rights protection. Pillar 9, the apostolic government. Pillar 10, Ghana's first $50 billion. Pillar 11, national security and data protection. And finally, Pillar 12, sports and creative industry. He has everything for these pillars in the hopes of becoming president of Ghana. But let's assess their constituency campaign so far. What has the new force been doing? We are assessing their constituency campaign so far. Let's speak with Samuel Ankoma Danso, who is the General Accra Regional Secretary for the Greater Accra Regional Secretary for the New Force. Samuel, thank you for joining us.
Right, you're welcome. And,
yes, as a regional coordinator, yes, of the New Force in Greater Accra, you have launched your constituency campaign. You launched it last week. In launching the constituency campaign so far, how has it been? Is it a so far so good, or so far we are still picking up?
Okay, so far so good, I would say. But then greetings to your listeners and then your viewers as well. So we launched our campaign in Greater Accra, which was Saturday. We launched our campaign and then we moved straight from Greater Accra to the Eastern region. So officially now we are present in the Eastern region. And then we began from Nsawam all through trying to get to the people. And our campaign style is a bit different from what we know already. Because I think what most people know is getting a Gangantuan rally stage where people come and shout, hey, hey, hello, hello, hi, hi, and then shout slogans and stuff. Then quite a number of people speaking. But ours is different. Nanakwam Bediako has the vision of probably getting into the constituent, like the people, to know exactly what their needs are, like touching base with everyone. So ours is getting into all the electoral areas within the constituencies. So you'll find him on foot walking, entering into all the electoral areas with a team of the campaign team and then everybody on ground, so that we could ascertain what exactly the people's needs are. Because once you group a lot of people on a campaign platform, you are not able to get that feel of how they live. So currently, I think they find themselves in Koforidua, heading towards Asasewa at the moment as we are speaking. And the team is still on ground and moving. So far, I would say so very good, because the people too are giving us a very good reception in their areas. Because having a presidential candidate come to you and then moving through your community, finding out exactly the problem of the community, that is the real Ghana. So we intend to show Ghanaians the real Ghana. The part that doesn't probably get in the news, we are showing them all that. Then whilst we come into power, we also do our best to resolve most of the issues.
Samuel, you launched a campaign on 12 pillars, and when you went for balloting ahead of the elections, you picked number 12. Does this have any impact in the way you are campaigning?
It really do, because you can really see that it's all in a divine alignment, I should say. Because the apostolic governance of 12 ministers. And then we launched the 12 pillars that we think will bring a revolution to our country. And then fortunately for us, we went into the ballot and then to pick our position, and we are still on 12. So as you can see, it's all in divine alignment, because we didn't know that we were going to even pick number 12, but God in his own wisdom has given us that. That should send a message across to everybody that whatever we are doing here has an approval from God, because everything that we are doing has to do with the 12. Just as our Lord Jesus Christ had 12 disciples, we also intend to have 12 ministers to help us build our nation once again, and we will surely do that.
So you believe that because you are in divine alignment, you will be breaking the duopoly between the NPP and NDC?
We are doing that at all costs. And then, as you know, there is no independent candidate. In fact, not even political parties have the traction or the reception that we have gotten the past few months as the New Force. There's never been in Ghana. So you can really see that the youth of the country need a change. And right now, Nanakwam Bediako has availed himself to lead us into that particular change that we need. So the duopoly between NPP and DC, where they do whatever they want because they know that, oh, after all, after 8 years we are coming, after 8 years we are also coming, and they are just playing with us. It is ending in these 2024 elections. Right from 2025 going, they will see the difference. That we are tired of them, and the only way we could speak and say our mind to them is by voting against them. And that is surely happening.
In your constituency campaigns, in your moving about, what are some of the things you have observed, and how are they impacting the way you are campaigning?
Okay, so in our communities and various communities, especially within the Eastern region, you enter communities and people even living in towns do not even have electricity, or some even cannot even afford. And when they are speaking to you about the hardship that they are going through, then you realize that some people have just been left out like that. Some communities have just been left out like that. And it looks as if the government doesn't care. And they have a representation in government. The MPs are there. But they only come to the people to speak to them or to help them only when it's elections. So I say to myself, why is it that these people spend millions of dollars, millions of Ghana cedis just for campaign? So within the last month or last 2 months of election, you find them in the community trying to help people that they should have helped 3 years ago, people they should have helped 4 years ago. They don't do that. But then you find them coming around during the election, and the poverty that the people are living in, when the government social interventions do not even work for the poor. The government brings out social interventions for the poor, and then there's still all these ministers and then CEOs that still enjoy those benefits. So you can really see that there are MPs that we have and all these appointees of government do not care about the people. What they care about is whatever they are receiving as privileges of being part of government, or whatever allowances they are receiving is what they care about. That's why they spend millions of cities taking care of themselves and trying to get into power again and again and again, whilst the people anguish in poverty all through. Because you move into some of the communities and if you look at the roads, too bad. If you look at roads, even now, roads that have been done maybe just about a week ago is going off. And you'll be thinking that, well, was there somebody supervising this particular project? Was there somebody seeing to it that everything is done? Because if this thing is your own personal project, you wouldn't even allow people to do it this way. So why do we do this to ourselves as a country? So in going around the communities and constituencies, we are seeing the real Ghana itself. It's not the Accra, the cantonments, the airport residential, and all those places. We are seeing the real Ghana. And we intend to resolve most of these issues when we are in power.
Samuel, during the balloting, Nana Kwame Bediako walked out. Many have criticized his walking out of the balloting at a certain point and saying that it sends a signal that he is intolerant. How do you remedy this situation so that you place your candidates in a favorable light before the Ghanaians?
So, in this part of our world, it becomes like the adults or the elderly have divine rights of being right all the time. So if you're a bit younger and then you try to tell them the truth, they term it as maybe disrespectful or not. But in this case, whatever was going on in there wasn't something to behold. And like I said, it wasn't like he walked out or to do anything. If you really listen to what he said, he was going to use the restroom before coming back. But then he had to comment about the things that was happening in there. So all the people maybe going around, oh, we shouldn't have done this, or it's disrespectful, and then all that. They should have been there in the room to see what was happening. Because people have been practicing things the bad way for a long time, that they make it look like whatever bad thing they are doing is the good one. And that is what has brought our country down. But they will keep telling you that this is how we do it. This is how we've done it. So they've been doing the bad thing for years. And they've become so used to it that if you come and you want to really cause a change or even ask a question about it, they feel like, oh, you shouldn't have asked. You should have kept quiet. And that has disturbed our country for a long time, not just about even with the EC, in every aspect of our lives. If you try to correct the elderly, they feel like, oh, they own the right to be right. So it wasn't a walkout, I would say.
Oh, thank you for joining us, Samuel. But before you go, are we still dredging the sea to Kumasi?
I am sure you will be alive to witness it. we are not dredging the sea. We actually creating pathways through the water bodies that move all the way from Kumasi to the sea, from the northern side to the sea. So we just take the parts that the river meanders its way into the sea, open it up, dredge it, so that at least maybe vessels can be transport goods and containers all through that line. So it's not like moving the sea itself there, but it's just that all the rivers that comes from those parts, we joining them, we putting them together, dredging them and making them wider and then better for vessels to go through again.
Thank you, Samuel.
Thank you very much.
Samuel Ankuma Danso is the Greater Accra Regional Coordinator for the New Force. That is all for politics today. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Attention business owners, it's time to take your business to the next level with ABC News GH Television's mega promo. From August 1st to October 31st, 2024, we're offering you unbeatable deals to advertise your products and services. Don't miss out on this amazing chance to reach more people and grow your brand. For more details, give us a call on 050-993-0360. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Follow us on social media at ABC News GH _.
Happy Hour is the segment where we send your birthday wishes, all of your well wishes to your friends and loved ones. So you have any well wishes you want to send your friends and loved ones, send them to our WhatsApp line 050-993-0360, 050-993-0360, and we will be glad to share your wishes. Let's take Happy Hour. Also, we have some birthday wishes coming from friends and loved ones to their friends and loved ones who are celebrating their birthdays. This is a happy birthday coming from Eric Yeboah to Jane. Happy birthday, Jane of UMB. God bless you, and may this new year bring you greatness. Keep shining. So Jane, we are wishing you a happy birthday. We are joining Eric to wishing you a happy birthday. Happy birthday to Lillian Asiwome Dagadu from all your friends in the GIJ evening class. We are excited to celebrate this special day with you. You are always the one bringing fun and smiles. It's amazing to see how much you've grown in just a few years, and we know the adventures have only begun for you. So Lillian, a happy birthday from all your friends in the GIJ evening class. So happy birthday to little Gato from Auntie Albi, Mommy, Daddy, and big sister Ceci. So to Gato, we can hardly believe how fast you are growing, but every moment with you is filled with so much joy, laughter, and love. You have such a sweet and adventurous spirit, and watching you discover the world is our greatest gift. Your giggles, your little hearts, and even your mischievous smiles brighten our day in ways we never imagined. We are proud of the wonderful boy you are becoming, and we can't wait to see all the amazing things you will do in the years ahead. So happy birthday to you, Kato, from Auntie Albi, Mommy, Daddy, and Ceci. So with these birthday wishes, we bring ABC in the morning to a close. But before we go, a reminder to interact with us on our social media at abcnewsgh_. Visit our website www.abcnewsgh.com. And we started with a quote. We will end with that same quote. Kofi Annan, 7th UN Secretary General, said, "The world is not ours to keep. We hold it in trust for future generations." This world is not for us alone, and it isn't even for us to keep. We hold it in trust for the future generations. So let's do well to leave it a better place than we met it. And if we met it in even a bad state, it behooves on us to improve on it so that the future generations, when they come, will be glad to see the world we have left for them. We are wishing you the best of the day and praying that the day brings you all of the joy, all of the wins, and all of the things you are looking forward to. Thank you for making time with us on ABC in the morning. We are glad to have had you. Thank you to the technical team and everyone who made this a success. My name is Abna. Enjoy the rest of your day. The midday news comes up shortly.